How straight should you be hitting your driver? And what does accuracy actually mean for men and women across all ages? In today's video, I'm going to share with you some amazing data from Arccos, which might just change the way you think about your driver and what accuracy actually means. As usual with these videos, there's going to be some graphs coming up as the video goes on. When we get to that part, just pause the video if you want to really digest what the graph means for you and your ability and your age. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you like the information in this video for more free videos. Today's question: how accurate are you with your driver? And I'll be interested in how you answer that question. So let's start with the men's driving accuracy chart, which you can see here. And what we notice is some interesting patterns that I think we can all learn from. Some of them are obvious. The lower handicappers are the most accurate across all range groups. That's something you would kind of expect. They're better players. They're lower handicappers. They're probably going to hit the ball down the middle a lot more often. But what's also interesting is we see that actually increases with age. So 50s, 60s, 70s, regardless of what handicap, it increases the level of accuracy. Even with the 60s and 70s consistently hitting more fairways, kind of outperforming their counterparts, younger counterparts of around the same handicaps. Then if we look at the women's accuracy chart, it's a similar pattern. We see 50s and 60s, the highest levels of accuracy across all handicaps, the same as the men. The lower handicappers are generally the more straight players. Again, it's the same patterns. So what is happening that makes these more mature golfers really start to dial in their accuracy? Now, one could be lack of distance. So as soon as they're losing distance as they get older, it would be easier to hit straight. But we don't want you to lose distance. What else we could be learning from the more mature golfers is maybe they found their consistent space to play. They found their consistency of routine and of how to actually hit the driver off the tee. Let's build some foundations. So let's nail setup. I see so many golfers with their driver just getting set up completely wrong. If you want to see the full setup with driver, maybe watch the video coming up in the corner or come back to it. I can link to it at the end as well and in the description down below. But you've got to nail setup. Making mistakes in setup is free gifts to golf, and golf is going to take many free gifts from you. So when you're practicing, just get a couple of clubs if you're someone who struggles with setup and create that station on the ground. Just make sure setup is being drilled. So you're not varying your ball position, you're not varying your aim from shot to shot. You're trying to build on those foundations of consistency. But the key with these drills is to make sure you do enough with them so it becomes kind of second nature, but also is that second nature then bleeding out onto the course? Meaning the amount of people I see use those kind of drills at the range, but it doesn't improve their aim because it's doing it for them. So you need to find out if you are that kind of golfer, which is about using the drill, using the aid, drilling it in, and then removing the safety net and see if that actually plays out on the course to allow you to gain the consistency of setup that you want. Because you might find that's really helping, but at the same time you could find those stirrups, that forced kind of putting your feet into a position is making you not do it, meaning it don't reflect out here on the course. Use pre-shot routine. Pre-shot routine is crucial for you trying to bleed what you do on your practice sessions out here onto the course. One of the biggest things with my son who's just started playing golf, he used to do a pre-shot routine next to the ball, do his practice swing, then he would step over and hit a shot and he could be pointing anywhere. Really cheap, easy tip. I got him to look down the line. Milo, I said, just look from behind, even do your practice swing here from behind, and then as you walk in, your visual of where you're trying to hit is much more realistic. And the big problem with pre-shot routine is people actually don't practice it. If you're not going to the range and working in your pre-shot routine into a batch of shots, then arguably you're not practicing. Don't just leave it for the course. Get your pre-shot routine to help build that consistency of you getting into the same position each time, looking down the same lines, but make sure you practice it at the range as much as you do at the course. And the final one, this is crucial for anyone who plays with curvature. Aim for your curvature. So if I'm going to hit a cut, I'm going to aim up the left, and I might even shift even further left to move that ball into target and move it away from any issues out there. I see so many golfers thinking that they need to aim straight. People come for lessons and I say, Well, you're drawing the ball, lovely, but they're all missing left. Why don't you aim 5 yards to the right? That'll bring them more on target. They say you're not allowed to do that. You've got to aim at the target. No, you've got to get your ball to finish at the target. You must aim for your shapes. Don't just think aiming down the middle of every fairway is the answer to straighter drives. It's not. The best players aim for their shapes. So let's break down the chart a little bit more and delve a little bit deeper and look at the men's Wayward driver shots by index, by handicap. And what we start to notice is similar patterns as you'd expect, but we've broken it down into penalty shots and recovery shots. So penalty shots is anything which is costing you a penalty, in a ditch, over the hedge, in out of bounds, anything that you have to drop the ball down and play again and take a penalty shot. And then we've got recovery shots. Recovery shots is when you don't have clear line of sight towards the hole. You cannot advance it forwards. You have to come out basically sideways and make a recovery. I think it's like you can't make more than maybe 50% of the distance. But what we see from these numbers is penalty shots increase with handicap. That is understandable. Lower handicap golfers are probably keeping the ball more in play than not. Recovery incidents happen more through handicap as well, so they're having to hit more recovery shots. The higher handicap you are, hitting more penalty and having to hit more recoveries. You're having to come out sideways more often. And what's interesting with the recovery shots is they show a bigger jump in percentages from 7.6 to 33% with the higher handicappers. And then obviously the total Wayward shots is a combination of those two numbers. But what we see is it's not just distance, it's control. It's controlling the face, the ability to get the ball on the face and the path of the club working in a way to help them keep the ball in a narrower set of playing fields. And there's a key skill that I see as a coach between high handicappers and lower handicappers. Let's address it. So we've got two really good drills to help you understand how to control the club face in two different ways. First off, I want you just to get a tee, something that resembles this tee. So it's just a pink knot castle tee. And what you're going to do, pick your driver up between your little finger and your first finger. You're going to just squish the round bit of the tee between your finger and first finger. So little finger, first finger. So basically it's in there. Now with this tee pointing down to the ground and out in front of you here, you can see for me, so it's pointing kind of down between my legs. What I'm going to do on the downswing is try and stick this tee into my trail foot. So I am going to really try and feel like I'm ramming it down into my trail foot. Now what this does is twofold. It's going to get the club face rolling the way you want it to roll, where the face is coming more down to the ground, which is going to help it present better loft, make it not go off to the right so much. If you do it too much, so if I point this tee somewhere towards my ankle, that rolls the face too much. So now we're going to go low and left. If I point this tee out in front of me here, I can actually see it here. It's not going to get anywhere near spiking my foot. This is going to hit the ball high and right, just to show you that. So tee out that way. That's going to send it up there and off to the right. Don't want those. Next one here, I'm going to just push it in towards my ankle. It's turning that face down, and you can see that one go very much the opposite, low and to the left. We don't want them either. So feeling like you're spiking your trail foot right at the end in the toes with this tee is such a good feeling of controlling the face. What it also does is it gets this angle out, which people don't like to do. They like to hold on to this kind of lag angle, which has been taught so weirdly for so many years. By actually getting that angle out, which all the best players do, it's measured. I can show you fact after fact, good players getting their lead wrist moving down this way. Called ulnar deviation. They are getting that angle out ready just to turn through and deliver the club. If you keep that angle in, that club is going to be delivered at the wrong angle. So it's doing twofold. It's helping you control face. It's helping you control face as well with ulnar by making sure that club is actually coming out of the angles you put in to allow you to just turn and deliver. Now you can hit balls with the tee in here. Just be careful, subject to how quirky everyone is when they hit shots. It could pinch, so hit it soft. Just make sure you can. I can hit shots like this, it doesn't matter, but some people are moving their fingers around as they hit, and I don't want you to hurt yourselves. The next tip, we don't need this. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, if you place the club out in front of you this way and flatten lead wrists with lead arms, so just one hand holding the club at the top, is can you, with some level of ease, do this? So what I'm doing here is rotating my club 180 degrees, if you like. So from here up to 90 and then over. So my lead arm is basically rotating from here to here. And this is something we see good players do as they're coming down in to hit the ball, and we don't see amateurs do it as well. So you could have the wrist angle set, but if you're then just pushing linear towards the target with this elbow, you see these kind of impacts, or even this way. It's often because they're not very good at putting this forearm rotation in. Now, if you are struggling to do this move here, where you flip the club this way when you hold it at the end, where it feels at its most stressful, just try and flatten lead wrist or lead arm as you do it. It's probably because you've got the club through this part of your palm. We've got to make sure the club is getting into this part of your palm in your grip if you want to have a better chance of using this for most golfers. Now, there are exceptions with this, because the common pattern when I say this is people say, what about Bryson, who has a weak grip and he stands really high, but he has fantastic forearm rotation? Unfortunately, we're not all Bryson and to his ability. So for most golfers, for giving you the better chance, based on many students that I've worked with and many other pros has over the years, if you've got someone as good as Bryson, you're just going to use their skills. If you've got golfers as average as the rest of us, you're trying to improve your chances. You need to be able to get this forearm rotation in by making sure that grip's in the lower part of your palm is just key for that. And one little basic tip for you to try and feel that when you're practicing, you can hit a shot out in front of you, and what I want you to do, just pause on the way through and try and feel like this butt end of the club is pointing somewhere down at the ball. It'll give you a great feeling of actually releasing that club on the way through, which might help you get some feelings of better club face control to help you hit more fairways. The difference between higher handicappers and lower handicappers, it's the control of that flattish face. This last tip and idea hopefully is going to change the way you think about driving accuracy forever. We're going to play a little game. I'm going to play 3 holes, hit 2 balls off each hole, and I want you in the comments down below, don't cheat, to tell me which drive would you choose out of the 2 drives. And then at the end, I'll explain to you which ones I would go for. So this drive ends up in the rough. It's very close to the stream on the left, but it's nowhere near the out of bounds on the right. So even though I'm close to the penalty shot on the left, I'm in the rough, I'm nowhere near the out of bounds on the right, which is a worse penalty shot. And as you can see, I can still pitch it onto the green from there. This drive right in the fairway, middle right, it's definitely way close to the out of bounds. Yes, I would prefer to be in the fairway. This gives me a good opportunity of pitching up onto the green. But out of these 2, to be fair, I wouldn't care. They are both in play. So drive 1, this is a par 5 reachable. Ideally, you do need to be a bit up the left, but up the right shortens the hole. This is middle right on the fairway, what I'd class as a good drive. Second drive, which one are you choosing? This one is up the left, and this one is going in the tree line. There could be a chance I'm blocked out. So this is right-hand side fairway. Got to go up over these trees. It shortens the hole down. Definitely feel like I have to do something with this one, which is up and over. That should be right side on the green. So this one's in the rough. It's definitely never going to really reach the out of bounds. It's not that far from the fairway and nowhere near the water on the right. It's further in, but as you can see, even from the bad lie, I can chase this up. The one on the right has got a chance of going in the lakes. This one's got a chance of being here in the tree line, which is all chip outable, and as much of hitting the fairway as the other one. I can hit a pretty average second and run that up. Between the 2, I'll be honest with you, I kind of don't care. Final test, super tight hole, crazy tight. First shot, up the middle right, good drive, take it all day long. Hitting driver is actually a bit of a silly play, but I'm doing it for this video. Second drive, this is leaking more off to the right. It's going to be in the tree lines. There's definitely going to be a bit of a hope with this one. I'm going to find it, but hopefully should be able to play it. So this one's in the rough and in amongst the trees, but I've got clear line of sight to the flag, which is lucky, but it's going to happen more than it's not. And even if it's not, I'm going to be able to move it up near the green. Would I prefer this one in the fairway? Well, of course I would, but again, I don't care. I would take both of these 2, because this hole, it's have a swing at it or lose it. Literally, you're going to, if you can't swing at it, you're losing it. So both of these are close enough to where I intended to hit it for me to be able to move this one and the next one somewhere near the green or the hole. For you to get more accurate, you've got to start valuing what accuracy is. And an accuracy is about having a shot at the next green or moving it towards the green. It's not about fairway counting. Now, chasing fairways in some minds is the only way to play. This hole's almost an example of that, but you can still get away with it within reason. But making sure you're picking optimal targets that are avoiding issues, gorse bushes, bunkers, water hazards, even if it means ending up in the rough, which is not a fairway hit, is still in my book classed as accuracy, as long as you're not hitting recoveries or penalty shots. And that's what you should be counting. Count how many recoveries you're having off your drives, chip out sideways where you can't advance it towards the green, and count how many penalties you're having. It's going to be way better than just chasing fairways, which is going to make a huge difference to your score. Now, if you want to find out how far you should be hitting your driver for your age, this video's really going to help.